What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Tin and Fin Show. And man, it's cold. I'm all bundled up. It's like 43 degrees out here. I know you northerners are like, yeah, whatever, that's what I keep my house at. But for me, it's chilly. The wind is blowing out of the north about 10 miles an hour. Overcast conditions, and it's not going to warm up much. So I'm super bundled up. It's that time of year, folks. It is really transitioning into winter. And today, this is what we're doing. We're going offshore. We're looking for schools of bass, and we're going to attack them with a spoon. So if we can find some fish, I can find the shad, no problem. We can find some bass relating to those shad. We're going to catch some fish because it's that time of year. And as I start hopefully catching these fish, I'll talk about what we're doing. Just shut the boat down, and looky. We got bait, folks. We have got bait. We just gotta find the bass, and this is gonna be epic. There he is. Let's try and get that little spoon bite. The old spoon bite. Fish all at the bottom here. There he is. Found him. Oh, fish on. You gotta do a lot of idling to find these fish. Just idling around, and I found there's shad everywhere, but this is what you're looking for. For those of you that want to get out here and start doing this stuff, right here, we got a ball of shad, and you can see right here, these are fish in that ball of shad, right there. So these fish are working this ball. You're just idling around. I mean, you can see on the side scan all the shad, and these little dots, they're fish on the bottom. Some little streaks, these are some fish. So these are not fish that you know, you're probably not going to catch those with the spoon. Those are A-rig fish and maybe deep diving jerkbait fish. So you kind of got to really, you need an A-rig and a spoon and a, you know, maybe an underspin or something. But if you're just going around looking for spoonfish, they need to be on the bottom, within like 3 or 4 feet of the bottom. Those ones that are elevated, it's super hard to catch them on a spoon. I'm not saying you can't do it, but those are, you know, those are cheater rig fish or even deep diving jerkbait fish. Spoon bite. There he is. There he is, Finn. We got his one. Got his one. So that's what we're looking for right there. Those are bass sitting around on that high spot. Just idling around. We're going to spin around, see if we can catch some of those. There he is. Finally. Little guy. But it's fun. There he is. It's one of those fish I graphed. Not big, but it's okay. Fat though. Sucker has been eating up. There we go. Man, this don't ever get old. Alright folks, I just wanted to share this video because it's going off right now. This is that time of the year when the spoon bite starts getting really good. I mean, it was a little bit tough this day, didn't really locate the schools that I wanted to, but that doesn't take away from the fact that a spoon is something you need to be putting in your arsenal. You need to be trying it fall through winter. It's and even summer. It's kind of a all year deal, but it really starts getting good in late fall and winter because the fish kind of start schooling up and you just idle around. You're looking for bait and you're looking for obviously bass that are relating to the bait balls, but the most important part of offshore fall winter spoon fishing, well, really regardless of the bait that you're throwing, but is being disciplined behind the wheel of the boat. Use your electronics, use your side scan, your down scan, and keep going until you find what you need. I mean, it may take an hour or two just to locate something that's worth fishing. But that's the kind of discipline that you have to have, because it can happen quick. I did a video with Ron DeRosa last year, and it's a pretty in-depth spoon video. So if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and go check it out, because he really breaks down his spoon fishing technique. And we idled around for quite a while that day just to find some fish to catch, and that's part of it. But he shares everything in that. And the spoon I've been throwing the last couple years is a this is just a nickel spoon. There's a lot of good flutter spoons out in the market, but something in that 7/8 an ounce to maybe 1 1/4 ounce range seems to be good for down to 30 feet. It's all about that slow flutter. 2 colors. When it's overcast, the wind is blowing really hard, even if it's sunny, it seems like white is a really good color. On a little bit calmer day or sunny conditions, something that is like a chrome. Basically, the 2 different colors will get you through most scenarios. And as you do this a little bit more, you can add a couple different variations. You know, they have like a green gizzard, something that's kind of got chrome, and it's got some green in there. Maybe a sexy shad, it's got some white, some blue. There's several different colors, but your base colors are always going to be your white and your chrome, and maybe even a gold. There's times when the waters are slightly more murky, maybe a little more overcast. That gold is not so overburdened. It's not so flashy. It doesn't stand out quite as much as this chrome, but it still has a little bit of flash. So you can definitely get by with 2, maybe 3 colors. So the white and chrome and the gold. Now, as far as the equipment, 7'6". I'll show you the rod that I've been throwing it on lately. So I've been using this Virtus Jewel. This is upside down, but this is made by Virtus Jewel, and it's the Acura series. This is their buzzbait vibrating jig rod. It's a 7'3", medium heavy, fast. So I would recommend something between 7'3" and 7'6". I know Ron uses a 7'5", maybe a little bit heavier rod, but you want something that's got a little bit of tip, so you can cast, make pretty good long bomb casts, and when the fish hits it, it's got enough tip to let the fish take it, because you don't want to be pulling it away from the fish. I find that in just about any technique, a soft tip is the way to go, almost always. But 17-pound test, 15 to 17-pound test seems to be perfect. Fluorocarbon, you're making your long cast and you're free spooling. So after you make that cast, you want to have your brake set really loose to where it just kind of, that spoon can just kind of pull line off of your spool, and just watch your line. Sometimes you're throwing out in 25 feet and the spoon has only been falling for a couple seconds, and then your line goes slack. Well, that spoon did not reach the bottom. That's a fish that grabbed it. So you kind of got to watch your line. But on a normal cast, it's going to fall all the way to the bottom, and you know it's on the bottom because you'll get slack in your line. That means it's on the bottom. And what you're going to do is you're going to engage your reel, and traditionally we would kind of lower our rod tip to the water and then pop it up. You know, you're popping the rod tip up, you're popping the rod tip up. I got low ceilings in here, so I can't really do it. You're popping your rod tip up. Well, that wears you out. You do that for a couple hours and you're going to be absolutely wore out. So the best way that I found, it's just like fishing a hair jig. You make that cast, you let it go to the bottom. Use your handle, use your reel handle instead of your rod to get that bait up off the bottom. So your bait's on the bottom, just turn that reel handle 3, 4, 5 times real quick. So and it makes that thing bounce up off the bottom. You keep your rod low. When you turn it 3, 4, 5 times, you just stop. Watch your line. Your line's going to have a little bit of slack, and then it's going to kind of tighten up as that spoon is going along the bottom. Just watch it. A lot of times you'll feel a tick. A lot of times you'll see your line jump, or it just won't quite fall all the way to the bottom. But you can keep that rod tip low. When you're fishing the spoon more traditional, where you're jerking it, you're kind of out of position. Now there are some advantages that you can kind of feed it a controlled slack line, but with this using the reel to pop the spoon up off the bottom of the lake, you are in position to set the hook at all times. So constantly watching that line. When you see it jump or you feel that little tick, your rod is low and you just lift up and you can jack them. I mean, you can really set the hook on them. 7-to-1 gear ratio reel is what I recommend. Something you can pick up line fast with. A lot of times these fish are way out there, so you need to have a high enough gear ratio to keep up with them. And you're gonna miss some fish. You just are. That's just the way it is. Some of the things that you can do that will aid in you catching the fish and getting them back into the boat is definitely a swivel. You want a swivel. That's going to help you with line twist. You're going to get a lot less line twist with the swivel, and the fish is going to get less leverage. Putting 2 split rings, I don't have this one with 2 split rings on there, but what happens is they get leverage. When they turn like that, they get leverage. If you've got 2 split rings in there, you've got more twists, and typically you're going to lose probably half as many fish. The feathered treble hook, I don't know about that, if it's a good thing to go without a feathered treble hook. Well, this is really flashaboo, but I always kind of leave this on there. So I know Ron, he believes that when the bigger fish start showing up in these schools, the flashaboo is the way to go. But a lot of times he just has a regular bare treble hook and he upsizes. He goes, I don't know what size he's come with. It looks like about a 4. He'll probably go up to like a size 2. So a bigger hook on the bottom, but an extra split ring, and then the swivel is a key part of that system. And like I said earlier, you really gotta use your electronics, and you gotta keep moving around. And you can have some phenomenal days if you're not seeing. Here's another thing: if you're in an area and you're catching some fish, and all of a sudden it kind of turns off, the shad have moved and the fish have followed them. So you gotta get on the big motor and you gotta idle back around. You know, a lot of times, sometimes they're moved 100 yards away. So you've got to get on that motor. You got to locate your fish. You got to start that process over. But stay around the shad. Don't stop until you find the shad. And not just the shad, but bass that are relating to the shad. And the best spoonfish is a fish that's on the bottom or just 3 or 4 feet up off the bottom, because that's kind of how that spoon's getting up about 3 or 4 or 5 feet up off the bottom. So you're putting that spoon in that fish's face. You know, if they're suspended much higher than that, I'm not saying you can't catch them. You can kind of reel it through them, but there's a lot better techniques. Your A-rig or your hair jig or your minnow baits are going to be better. So this is basically for when you find those fish that are lined up on the bottom to just a few feet up off the bottom in tight schools. That's when your spoon bite really comes into play. And it's something that goes, I mean, you can catch them in the summer for sure, but it seems like when that water starts getting, I don't know, around the high 60s to ice, basically, that's when the spoon shines, in my opinion. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any questions, leave it in the comment section. Thumbs up, subscribe. Until next time.